Good morning, lovely people. It's Nicola, Stitches and Slapdashery. Obviously not in my sewing room right now. I'm at the Sunday morning market and I'm freezing my buns off. It was okay setting up, but that was when I was moving. Now that I've finished setting up, I've had to put on my fingerless mitts, my cowl and my chunky crocheted cardigan. It's a little windy and it's a little rainy. So yeah, not sure how many customers are going to be coming by today. It's usually fairly well attended regardless of the weather. But I didn't sell anything here last week, which is a little bit depressing. So the exciting news about today is that it's my Vlogiversary. It's been 1 year since I published my first vlog. And I've had such fun doing it. So when I get home later, I'm going to go through a few of my past vlogs and get some stats and all that sort of thing. I hope you're not getting wind on the mic because that won't be fun. Yeah, I'll sort some stats out. I'm going to have a cupcake in celebration, maybe with a candle in the top. And I'll show you the latest progress on my crochet daisy square blanket and the assembly trials and tribulations of that pink onesie that I have made but did not enjoy making for parts of it. A few of the vendors ducked out today. They were either sick or doing something else, or maybe they just decided they didn't want to freeze their asses off here. Anyway, hoping for a decent amount of sales today to lift my spirits a little bit. I overslept this morning and I set my alarm for 6 a.m. and I was in such a deep dream and I suddenly jolted out of this dream and it was 6:19 and I obviously slept right through the alarm, which, you know, it bleeps and bleeps and then it bleeps absolutely frantically about 10 times faster if you ignore it. I didn't hear a thing. There's a good chance that there'll be rain on the phone camera by the time I finish this panorama. I am getting a little soggy here. And of course the grass is wet from rain and possibly from sprinklers as well. So my shoes are pretty wet. I hope my toes don't get cold as well. It's so windy today. My leg's really rough. It's been raining most of the morning. And dang it, I'm freezing. I am dreaming of having a hot bath when I get home. Look at all that rain. It's nuts. Next weekend, it'll probably be 29 degrees and I'll be complaining it's too hot, but oh man. Yeah, it's 12 degrees. 12 degrees in June in the interior of British Columbia. That's just insane. A windproof jacket and a beanie would have been a better idea than crocheted stuff, because the crochet stuff lets the wind through. We're down to the last half an hour, and I think all the other vendors are also dreaming of a hot bath too. Wish I had a hot tub at home. The onesie is underway, making the large, and so far I have assembled the body pieces. You start by putting the pockets on the front, and then you do the inner leg seams, and then you do the outer edge seams. As usual, I'm being pretty slapdash with my seam allowances. I have pink to them, although that's more than I sometimes do. Fleece doesn't fray, right? So it's just, oh, whatever. The stitch I'm using to sew this onesie up is a zigzag with a very, very shallow width, so it's just 0.5 wide and 4 long. I'm a bit inconsistent with how I sew my knits, but that's what I'm doing today. And I am currently sewing the 2 hood pieces together. I am attempting not to be slapdash with my basting. It goes against the grain a little bit sometimes, but it's rather important to get the center front looking good. This is where the zipper is going to go in, and it's probably the most visible part of the entire garment. So I am hand basting, and or tacking if you're in the UK, what we used to call it when I did my O levels way back when. Trying to do a 5/8 of an inch or a centimetre and a half. So the way they put the zipper in this pattern is to baste the edges together and then put the zipper behind, if I remember right. I already went a little rebellious because when I attached my hood, attached my hood, and then I went and trimmed my seam allowances with the pinking shears, and then I read that I was supposed to top stitch on the front there, just below the seam. And I thought, okay, I've already trimmed my seam allowances, and I think we're just going to consider the top stitching an optional step. I am using a separating zipper. It's not supposed to be a separating one for this pattern, but I can't get hold of a long enough zipper in the chunky teeth, which is a closed end one locally. So I just had a brainstorm. I did my basting, and now I'm looking at it from the inside, and I'm trying to keep my seam allowances flat. And I'm supposed to line my zipper teeth up with the center seam and baste along here. And then I'm supposed to baste it again. So that's 3 lots of basting. And I just realized, if I'm sensible, I'll use my double-sided sticky tape. I'm hoping it'll work out. I've not used it on fleece before. I've always just used it on bags. But heck, if it works. So I'm going to run a line of tape along here to stop the dang seam allowances from springing up when I'm trying to deal with them. Let's see. I'm in love. I can tell my pockets are probably not going to match up perfectly. This is probably not going to be perfect right here. That's another place where it's nice to get it to be exact because it shows, but I don't think anyone's going to be looking that closely at my tummy, do you? Just look at the general picture of me looking hilarious in a pink onesie with pig ears. Probably sweating my guts out because I'll be overheating. Oh man, I think this is going to make my life so much easier. This is my least favourite part of the whole garment, is putting the zipper in. Look at that. And now I'm not fighting it. And now I can put my double-sided sticky tape all the way along on top of the seam allowance. So what I've done in previous versions of this, the first time I made it and I used a zipper like this, I found that the bottom of the zipper was really scratchy. It was scratching my legs because obviously it was not meant to be used. This sort of zipper is not meant to be used for this job, but it was very scratchy. And so I put a little fleece tab on the bottom of my zipper the last couple of times. I've also sewn down the top of the zipper tab there. And I don't want this part too high because it can get a bit scratchy at the chin. So I'm going to start maybe just a couple of millimeters down from the very top edge there. Oh my gosh, I think this is it. This is what I needed today. Now I'm sad. I sewed the first side of the zipper in and it wasn't perfect. It went a little bit narrow here and I thought, okay, I'll just unpick that bit and then re-sew it. Because of the bulk of the pocket, it messes it up a bit. So then I did the other side first before I started to fix anything. And then I had a look at the back and the stitches are all long. It didn't all take. Now I'm using a stretch needle, ballpoint needle 90, I think. I think I might have to change to a universal for this. I don't recall having this problem before. I did use my zipper foot. Oh, look, it's pulled it down there. And then when I went to do the zipper up, it stuck and it was catching on the tape. So when I go to zipper it up, it's not as bad now the second time, but it's definitely sticking. So now I am feeling well and truly fed up because I was all excited that this was going to be an easy install with the double-sided sticky tape. Well, I've unpicked my zipper and I have re-clipped it on. And there's still some sticky tape on there, but I think it'll be okay. I have clipped it to keep it secure, and I have left the zipper teeth sticking out a little bit instead of having the fleece over the teeth. There was a little weirdness happening inside this pocket. I looked inside the pocket and it looked like I had made a tuck somewhere where I wasn't supposed to make a tuck. So I ironed that out, not literally ironed it. I smoothed it out. This bulk with a pocket in is a bit of a pest because there are 2 layers of fleece here. Then you fold it back on itself to attach the zipper. So you've got multiple layers of fleece in here. And I had to put my zipper foot on to get the seam in the right place, and the zipper foot doesn't handle that sort of bulk well. I did use my hump jumper. Oh, what have I done with my hump jumper? It's gone. Okay, I shunted it out the way when I brought down that cup of tea. Now this tape, this double-sided tape, it was recommended by some bag sewers on Facebook and my friend as well, and I have used it successfully quite a lot. But every now and again it actually seems to gum up my needle, and it's not supposed to. When I say it's not supposed to, lots of other people have been having great success with this. It's from a shop called Asteron on Amazon, and it holds brilliantly, but sometimes it does gum up my needle. Right, well, I'm going to have another whack at this, and I am using a Microtex needle this time. This is the needle I've been using for constructing the main seams. Is a Jersey ballpoint needle size 7010. I've taken that out, and hopefully the Microtex will do the job to get through the fleece and the zipper tape. It's not perfect, and we won't talk about how many attempts it took to get the zipper in to a level at which I'm 80% satisfied. I mean, look, this is what happens. They don't match up here and here. And my stitching is not particularly lovely. But the damn zipper's in. I can move on. The sleeves are done relatively quick compared to that darn zipper. Now the pattern calls for contrast ribbing for the sleeve cuff and for the leg cuff. But that stuff's expensive. Last year, it was selling at my local store for $30 to $40 a meter for the ribbing, which is ridiculous. So I just use the same fleece. Just make sure that it's cut with the stretch going that way. And it works fine. And you're going to get all these little oddments that are left over when you're cutting out the pieces anyway, so why not use them? The onesie is finished as far as the pattern instructions go. Hood, body, sleeves, sleeve cuffs. Yeah, the fleece works fine as a sleeve cuff. Doesn't have to be fancy ribbing. And leg cuffs. Now, I was thinking it might be worth trying to make a little corkscrew tail for this pink pig type onesie. So I've grabbed a strip from the scraps, and I am going to cut and sew a tube. This is my plan anyway. I'm going to cut and sew a tube, and I'm going to put some garden wire down. This is some garden wire I bought from the dollar store during 2020 when we were all making masks and you needed something to make it fit around your nose bridge. So I'm going to try that, maybe a double thickness of that. I'll let you know how it works out. Just because I have a juvenile sense of humor, I had to show you what it looks like at the moment. Oh my gosh, I did this long pointy triangular piece and tried to turn it right side out. And all of the pointy part is so narrow it won't turn right side out, and now I'm tittering at this because I have a dirty mind. Okay, I'm going to turn it back to the inside out and figure out how to do this. Okay, so my trusty tube turner did the job. I don't know why I didn't just use that first, but I tried a couple of other things to try and get my tube to turn out. And the tube turner did it, even though it's a little bit bulky. I'm going to use a double long piece of the garden wire so that it's blunt at the end. I'm going to stick that down into the tube. I'll have to flatten it a bit more than that. Okay. Now hopefully I can make a curly tail out of this. Yeah, oh, it wants to twist around the wire. Maybe I'll let it do that. Well, that looks pretty promising. I'm not sure how I'm going to attach it to the onesie yet. But at least I've made a start. When you volunteer to make a pink pig onesie for a vegan festival, this is what it looks like. And it will have a tail attached as well, when I can figure out how to attach it. Happy Vlogiversary to me. It's my 1 year Vlogiversary. Try not to set light to your sewing room, Nicola. This is take 2, because I did a whole bunch of spiel again. Didn't put my microphone on. Honestly. Anyway. I had to put a scarf on. This is a very dull top, and I wanted something nice and colourful at the neckline. Plus, even though it's June, it's not exactly a warm day, as you'll have already seen from the footage I've put for before from this morning's market. You know what? If I had a hot tub, I'd have been in it this afternoon. Crazy cold, 12 degrees in June. It'll probably be 30 next weekend, but, you know, this was darned uncomfortable being outside all morning. Ah, well, I was very grateful for my crochet blanket work in progress this morning. I took it to the market in this lovely scrappy bag that I made. It's absolutely massive. This fabric was left over from making a quilt and a table runner and some napkins for my dining room table. And I just patched it all together. It was all sorts of weird pieced stuff that I sewed together any old how. So the pieces are not regular or anything. They're just thrown together. And yeah, the lining is just so pretty. So it was really nice getting good progress made on this blanket this morning. Again, the sales weren't great. But then I think that was the same for all the vendors this morning, because whilst there were a few people going around the market, most of them looked as cold as us, and I don't think they were spending a lot of money unless it was on hot chocolate. I did another square the other night. I had 19 squares made, which is a really silly amount, really, because, you know, that does not make a blanket, does it? I made an extra square, and then I was able to put them together 5 by 4 with a single crochet seam with the ridge on the back, so the front is smooth. And I'm just doing 3 rounds of single crochet around the edge of the border. And then it's going to be a Netflix night, because I'm going to have to weave all my ends in. So that is nearly done, which is awesome because it's been hanging around for far too long. As I am celebrating my 1-year Vlogiversary, I thought it would be nice to have a giveaway. I did consider maybe picking something out that's been going to the market with me that I have sewn, and I decided to go with something else. I have been keeping some of my makes aside for gifts or whatever, and I just had a look through the box and I thought, this is perfect. Not everyone is as nuts about colour as I am, let's face it. So I thought I would make this a giveaway prize. It's the crochet hat that I made a while back. I made a couple of these. This is a crochet ribbing type thing, and it has a rather cool feature up the side, and it's a slouchy beanie style. Lovely soft yarn. Easy care, washable, dryable, and I have a matching cowl. Can I remember the name of this cowl? No, I cannot. I made 3 of them, I think. Cannot remember the name of it. But it just sits neatly at the back of the neck, and then the bottom, not the bottom, the front has a V, so it tucks into your jacket nicely. So that's knitted, the hat's crocheted, and they match. They're made out of the exact same yarn, and that is going to be my little vlog prize. And in order to enter for that, all you need to do is like, share, comment, and subscribe. I know you're all doing anyway, right? So I'll give you guys a deadline for that. Let me see. Today is Sunday, June 16th, 2024. So I will give you until next Sunday, say 7 p.m. my time. I am in British Columbia, Canada, so that would be Pacific time. And I don't know what that date would be. 16th, 23rd? 23rd of June. That's the deadline. So when you see this video, if it's still before that time, pop your comment in there, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And then I will draw a winner and mail it anywhere in the world. So just a few stats to end up this video. 12 months of vlogging. Have to say, it's been a blast. I love the filming part. I love creating stuff and showing you guys it all. And I love editing it. And I love making thumbnails in Canva. It's all been so fun. And at this point, I have 587 subscribers. No idea that I would have that many subscribers after just a year of vlogging. And I'm so happy that you guys are enjoying it enough that you want to follow my little vlog. And I have made apparently 125 videos in that time. I have done 11 tutorials. I've done 25 of Vlogmases, 30 Vlogtobers, 47 blogs, and a few little random things like some shorts and other things. And yeah, it's all been fun. I've loved it all. There have been some hiccups in the learning process, and yeah, every now and again, I still don't get something right. that editing software I'm using, sometimes I forget to make the proportions right or whatever, but it mostly works out. So yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm doing this professionally, right? I'm not getting paid to do it. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And hey, I'm not called Stitches and Slapdashery for nothing. As you will know if you've watched a few of my vlogs. So I want to thank you all for watching and following and subscribing and liking and commenting and all that. So grateful to have you. Love you all. And I hope you keep on coming back. And I'll say goodbye for now, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.